Hey, what's up, Ranger fans? It's Daddy Louie coming at you again on Monday. Monday before Election Day, Monday after Halloween and Daylight Savings Time, and a full moon. It's crazy. This week's just gonna be crazy. So, let's get crazy and paint Louie Kaboom. I'm super excited in case you can't tell. I've been wanting to paint this model for a while, mostly because A, the model looks super cool, and B, because, well, he has the same name as me, which is pretty cool. So if you are not familiar with me, I am a member of the Circle of Nerds. You can find all of my content over on YouTube at youtube.com/Circle of Nerds. Please go over there and subscribe. It means the world to me to have your support. As always, thank you to Renegade for having me on stream. Nowhere else that I would rather be today than with you. So, without further ado, we're going to go down to the table. Before we do, I just want to remind everybody, and I'll try and remind everybody again at the end of the stream, that today is new free scenario day. So if you haven't seen that yet, I think it's actually being released like as we speak. So at the end of the stream, you can go over to the Facebook group, check that out, and over to the website as well. There's that new scenario coming out. So let's go down to the table and see the model that we're working with here, and get nice and close. And here we have, let's get Louie Kaboom. So Louie Kaboom is essentially a rocket with two faces, which is pretty cool. It's kind of glary because it's white, the paint. But that'll change in a second once we get some color. So he's got two faces. He's got this face here, and then he has this giant face on the rocket. So he's very colorful, very patriotic, red, white, and blue all over. We're going to start with blue. We're going to use Calidor blue for all of the blue. And then, and then we'll go to do some reds, some silvers. The only thing that on this model that's weird, looking at all of the resource pictures that I have, is his pants. His pants are kind of like an off-white color, almost tan, but not really. More like an eggshell is what I say. But the rest of him, when there's white, it's white. It's very strange. So I'm not 100% sure how we're going to do that. I think we may use some Wraithbone, which is what the model is painted with, and then use some brown, a brown wash, and then highlight it back up with the off-white Wraithbone. We'll see. I'll save that towards the end, because right now we want to get into the colorful stuff. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to start with the blue. He's mostly blue. There's mostly blue on the model. So let's see. Looking at the chat, Tony says, "Here comes the boom." Yes, here it comes. Atomic says, "Been looking forward to the stream all day. Super excited. Glad to have you here." Let's see, what color, what paintbrush do we use here? I think we go with the number 1. And Calidor blue is a great blue. I thought about doing something a little darker, but I really want that blue to pop, just because there's so much of it on the model. So I decided to go with, get that out of there. Decided to go with a little bit of a stronger blue. I was thinking about going with McCrag blue, I believe it is, which is definitely darker. But I think this is the right choice. We shall see. This is the same color that we used for the Blue Ranger last week. Alright, so let's see here. So hopefully soon we'll be joined in chat. There's one of my guys right there, Shago. Tell us all about Louie Kaboom and where he comes from, and we're just gonna go straight blue in there. Hope everybody enjoyed what they could of their Halloween. This was really our first year without our kids, which was strange. My daughter went to a small gathering of people that she knows from school. When I say small, I think there was only like 2 of them. And then my son worked. So that is that was our Halloween. Wife and I went to dinner, had a real nice dinner, and then we went and bought a new couch. And that was the extent of my Halloween. Kaboom's origin is a bit... See, I knew you'd have the knowledge. Let's see, what's he say? Kaboom's origin is a bit strange. Zed and company fire a rocket at a machine empire, and it just sort of becomes Louie Kaboom. Hey, Jay Quellen. No, I can't buy you a new couch. Because I had to buy me a new couch. And that crap was expensive. We ended up getting a love sack. So, if you're familiar, then you know how much my dang couch was. And if you aren't familiar, then it was expensive. Let's just leave it at that. This is exciting, painting a character with my name. The model is pretty straightforward. Nothing really here should be too much of a challenge as far as like skill goes. It may take a while. There are a lot of colors. It's a pretty big model. He has quite a bit of detail. This arm is a little bit of a pain in the butt because it's kind of close to his side. So as you can kind of see here, I guess you can't because my camera's not pointed at what I'm doing. As you can kind of see right here, like this arm comes too close to his side. So I'm going to end up getting paint on his arm that I don't want there. I'll have to fix that later. Nothing I can do about it. You know, I hadn't thought about that. But that's really cool. Our first female Green Ranger in Dino Fury, yep. there are some parts that the paint is not sticking. It's very strange. I definitely primed the model, same way I always do. It may be because the room I'm in is really cold. It may also be that my paint's too thin. So you said that Zed kind of created Louie Kaboom by shooting a rocket. So what series would we have seen him in? I mean, I know Zed was on Mighty Morphin, but I can't remember if Zed was on anything else. Love this color. Such a nice blue. So he's in Zio. Got it. I need to do some more Zio painting. I think I've only painted one Zio. Trying to remember. Did I even do one? I might not have even done any. Now that I think about it. I'm pretty sure it's 0. I'm pretty sure I haven't painted any. I think I wanted to paint Tommy and I didn't. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to go back and look. There's so many models now in the game, like I can't even remember what's painted and what's not without like actively going and looking at my collection. Unless I painted it like in the last couple weeks on stream. No idea what's painted. What did I even paint last week? Blue. I painted blue space. But I'm surprised I even remember that. I'm trying to like work my way around like his medals and stuff, but it's not working too well. So I may just like have to repaint those later. I'm definitely gonna have to go over the paint once it dries anyway, because it's a little transparent. Like with these metals, like on his chest here, it's just easier to paint over all of them, so that way the paint gets in the cracks, because these are silver, and then I can just go over them with silver lightly so that the silver doesn't get in the cracks and the blue will stay there. It's hard to tell in the picture. I think all of this is blue too. So what's everybody up to? Chat's kind of quiet. I'm quiet too, though, I guess. Election day's tomorrow. Anybody got to work? Anybody got off? My kids have off of school, but I'm actually in a class tomorrow. How's everybody doing with daylight savings time? Is it throwing anybody off yet? Had an eye exam today and they double dilated me. I didn't even know they could double dilate you. What does that even do? Like, I mean, I guess I know what it does, but like, how messed up did that make you? Well, you probably deserved a day off, so it's good that you had to take one, I guess. You're a working maniac. Grinding in Beverly Default. What did you do for 3 hours not being able to look at your phone? I would have just gone to sleep. I would have just been like, oh, I guess I'm taking a nap. See, I want to look some reference pictures real quick. It's hard to tell. It looks like it's... This whole part right here is blue too. Let's see. Louie Kaboom. Yeah, his helmet is blue. Oh, I see a picture of the rocket that they shot off. That's fun. This whole part over here is all blue too. Get his face later. This blue is so right now I'm just focusing on getting this base color down so it can dry, and I can go back over it and kind of brighten it up a little bit. There is some separation. I can't tell if it's... I used this paint last week, so I know that the paint isn't bad. It's possible that the primer wasn't... I don't know. It's weird. But it's definitely separating in some spots. It shouldn't be an issue because it's pretty light, and basically what I'm doing is just putting extra paint there, letting it dry, and then going back over it to make sure that it has good coverage. Could be a number of things. We've had the temperature has dropped here drastically over the past couple of days. So it could have something to do with that. It could just be that I did a bad job priming it too. So but where it's dried, it looks great, and like I said, it's just easy to, you know, let it dry and then go over it to solidify the color a bit. Yeah, it's cool. I just looked at a picture of what the little rocket looks like, and it's kind of awesome. I know that there's also some blue on the top of his gloves. Switch out my brush here. Alright, so next color, I think we go with... Red, maybe? Random question. I'm watching RPM at the moment for the first time. Has anyone else noticed that Vengex is basically the anti-Zordon? I don't know if I've ever seen RPM. But I know Shag has, because... Actually, you know what? I'm going to do silver first. I got a pretty cool Power Ranger question. So if you watch Mighty Morphin, there is a lot of it. Some could argue all. There's a lot of it that is super, super cheesy. And obviously for some people, that's a lot of the appeal, right? Are there any of the Power Ranger shows that are not as cheesy, are more serious, and or have, like better acting? Like if you were trying to get somebody into Power Rangers, obviously people are going to recommend Mighty Morphin because it's the most iconic. But, if you were trying to get somebody into the series that you knew would have a hard time with the corniness of the show, what series would you recommend? Time Force. What do you mean by that about in space? Like, in order to get it, you had to have seen other shows? Because it's the end of the Zordon era. So the story runs from Mighty Morphin right to space. Oh, okay. So does that mean that the other shows act as if those first 6 years don't exist, or like how does it work chronologically? Like, are there any standalone? Are any of the shows standalone? Does that even make sense? And I'm legitimately asking these questions because people ask me this all the time. Maybe not all the time, but I get asked it frequently. I'm curious about Power Rangers, but it's so corny. Where should I start? Like, and I always say Mighty Morphin because that's how I started. But for me, Mighty Morphin is great, I think, because of nostalgia mostly. And I don't think the acting is terrible for the most part. Lost Galaxy is sort of an epilogue as it does connect to the Zordon era, but it's also when each season started to tell one season stories. I see. So hindsight on this model, I probably should have primed it in silver. I think if I were to do it again, I would have done that. It would have made the blue a little more metallic, which I think I want, or I would want. And this process wouldn't take as long, because this model has a lot of silver. Painting with metallics in large spaces like this is pretty tough, because metallics tend to dry quicker than other paint types do. Especially because we don't put it on our palette, because we don't want our palette to become infected with the metallic paints. Alright, let's see here. The way it breaks down, Mighty Morphin to In Space is one long story, stretching across 4 series. Afterwards, each series started to tell their own standalone one-season stories. Lost Galaxy is unique in that it's standalone, but also has connections to In Space. Dino Thunder is a legacy season because it's got Tommy coming back, but doesn't count the Zordon story beyond him. So when Tommy comes back in Dino Thunder, he's our Tommy, though, right? From Mighty Morphin. But you're saying that story doesn't have any connection to Zordon other than him coming into the show. Good stuff. So the first six seasons that you said were broken into 4 shows was Mighty Morphin, Zeo, Space, and something else. It'd be the one with the cars, right? Turbo, yeah. Because that had Tommy in it too. those parts a little bit. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. There are some crossover episodes, like SPD meets Dino Thunder, but apart from that, pretty much standalone. Mighty Morphin Turbo, or Mighty Morphin Zeo Turbo in Space. Turbo was actually so poorly received that In Space was going to be the last season of Power Rangers. However, it managed to get the viewers back in mass. I've heard In Space is very, very good. I have not seen any of it. I've seen all of Mighty Morphin, all of Zeo, I think. That was a long time ago. I've seen most of Turbo, if not all of Turbo. I'm trying to think what else I've seen. I can't even remember. What else was I doing? Oh yeah, more silver. I'm pretty sure I've seen some of SPD. Was SPD the one where they had the thing on their wrists, maybe? And I say that so casually because I know that a lot of morphers were wrist morphers. I don't think there was just one show that had wrist morphers. The Future Cops, yeah. I have seen some of that then. It'd be awesome if, like, Netflix would do a animated Power Ranger series like their Voltron series. That'd be so freaking cool. I just want Netflix to do something with Power Rangers. Seems like every time a property is given to Netflix to make something out of, they usually, like, nail it. I was watching something that popped up on my Facebook the other day, and it was like a 9 or 10 minute long video where they showed like a bunch of like the crossovers that have happened throughout the show's history, and it showed like a bunch of different like people from other shows coming back on current shows and things like that. It was pretty cool. And then I saw a newer thing that had Jason come back. I think that's current, though. I don't think that's, like, old. Where else is there silver? I'm looking at my picture to see what else is silver here. There's rivets on his head that are silver. I'm not going to paint those until... I'm not going to paint the rivets until, like, after the wash and when we do, like, highlights and stuff. It's possible as Netflix have all the seasons of Power Rangers. So each, I guess that's a good thing for me, like as a person who hasn't seen all the shows, like each series has its own season and that's it. It's not as overwhelming as it looks. Because, like, you look and see how many Power Rangers there are, and then you remember that, like, Mighty Morphin was well more than one season. Um, you're like, oh man, there's a lot of Power Rangers. But if you're looking at it from that point of view, where there's like, each series is just a season, then it's not that bad. It'll be easier for me to catch up. Now I just have to decide which one I want to watch first to get back into it. Do any of them have like overarching stories? Like bigger overarching stories? Like Mighty Morphin, each episode was pretty standalone. You didn't have to necessarily watch them in order. And, I just wasn't sure if that was like a theme with Power Rangers, as most of them, like, each episode standalone, or is there like a big overarching story where like the finale matters and like you're invested in the show and in the characters and stuff? Yeah, you with Mighty Morphin, you could just like turn on the TV, and if there was an episode on, you could even watch it like mid episode, and it was still fun, and like you didn't. But at the same time, you also weren't invested in an overarching story. The only time that there was anything like that is when they had like the two-parters and the three-parters and the five-parters. And those are obviously the standout moments of the show because they were just so good. All right, let's see. It's a lot of silver. Shoes, thighs, face. Let's see, face. Shows his neck as being a little silver. I think it's this part right here. I'm gonna have to switch brushes. In Space has a good story, but do I need to like? I mean, obviously, I know. I remember most of like as far as storytelling goes. I know of most of the stuff related to um, Mighty Morphin, but the other shows I haven't seen in forever. So am I going to be lost? That turned out really good, actually. Thought I was going to struggle. All right. So that's all the silver. And that's most of the model, silver and blue. And white. So now we're going to switch over to our reds. If you've watched all the way from Mighty Morphin to Turbo, you should watch it, Space. So if you've seen Zeo, all you need to do is watch Turbo, and then you're good to go for Space. Yeah, it's been... I mean, I was a kid when I watched Zeo. Granted, I was a kid when I watched Mighty Morphin, though, too. And, but, you know, I watched it so many times that I remember a lot of it, and I've seen a lot of it again as an adult. It's a really dark red. Holy moly. It's a lot darker of a red than I wanted, but we can brighten it up after we put a wash on. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to brighten those up. The blue is like nice and popping, and this dark red is just not doing it for me. This is Mephiston red for those that are wondering. I've been kind of quiet about what paints I've used. So we did the blue with Calidor Sky. The silver was Lead Belcher, and now we're using Mephiston red for the red. But we're definitely going to brighten that up with a Evil Sun Scarlet once we do all the highlighting and stuff, because it's just too dark for me. If we had kept the if we had used like McCrag blue for the blue, which is a darker blue, then this red would probably suit it okay. And on camera it looks fine, but in person it's just too dark. Poop. Paint where I didn't want it. Okay. Well, got red on some of the blue, but I can fix that. No problem. What else is red? The top up here is red, so let's get that. Like I said, he's very patriotic. Atomic says that he went over to the to our Circle of Nerds YouTube and watched the video where I basically tell everybody how amazing Masters of the Universe is, the movie, and you agree. So thanks. Glad I'm not the only one. I've seen that movie more times than I care to admit. Oh, I like the original Street Fighter movie as well. Because, I mean, who doesn't like, Jean-Claude Van Damme as an American hero? Two things that I try and let all of my uh, two things that I try and let all my fans know is that I love Masters of the Universe and I can't stand John Wick. Those are two things I am not ashamed to talk about. The awesomeness of Masters of the Universe and the horridness of John Wick. All right, let's see. The eyes are looking great. They're green in the middle, so we'll get to that in a bit. Just want to make sure I've got all of the red where it needs to go. It looks like it. So I gotta do some blue touch-ups here. All right, so if Dolph Lundgren and Van Damme are dropped into Mighty Morphin, who's Jason and who's Tommy? I think Lundgren is Tommy. That is a great line from Street Fighter. Quick, change the channel. I need some gold. I need some gold. For some reason, his shoes are gold. Don't ask me why. It's a little random. It's a great costume design choice to give him gold. Gold shoes. When the rest of them is pretty much red, white, blue, and silver. That's how his shoes are painted. Go figure. Jason Statham to play Tommy. Use the cast of the Expendables to cast Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I guess Ronda Rousey is playing Kimberly. I would love to hear Stallone say it's Morphin Time the way that Jason does. That would be hilarious. Hey guys. Alright, so we used Retributor armor to paint his fancy gold shoes and his little medal that he's got on his chest there. Now we're going to switch over to, where is it? German Gray from Vallejo. This is to do like all the ribbed stuff, like around the pants and the arms and stuff. And then I believe that's it for base colors. And I had a feeling this model was going to take a lot longer to paint. Steve Austin as Zordon would be funny too. Although I could see The Rock playing Zordon as well. Or like Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis as Zordon. There you go. All right, instead of... How about this? Instead of Expendables, just any legitimate action star to play as in the cast of the Power Rangers. So, like, for me, the girl that would play Kimberly would be the girl who plays Nebula in the MCU. She was also in the Jumanji movies. I can't think of her name. She would be my pick for Kimberly. Trini would probably be played by... I mean, I don't want to sound cliche, but Lucy Liu would probably rock the heck out of that. Wesley Snipes as the Black Ranger. Michael B. Jordan as the Black Ranger. Oh man, Chris Farley and David Spade as Bulk and Skull. Oh, that would have been awesome. Who would play Billy? I actually knew that about Wesley Snipes and not wanting to open his eyes. They had a really hard time with him on the set of Blade Trinity. As a matter of fact, we did Circle of Nerds did a podcast about Blade Trinity not that long ago. Yeah, I can't remember what episode it was, but it was one. It was an episode of last season's podcast, so it wasn't that long ago. Maybe like 2 or 3 months ago at the most. Last season, we focused all of our podcast energy on talking about movies that were like actual disasters, and that made the cut for sure. Weird Al is great too. I would watch the heck out of him being a mentor of somebody. He just put out a new, I'm pretty sure he just put out a new video like a couple of days ago. Weird Al did, about the election, talking about the two candidates. Bulk would, or another good, Jack Black would make a good Bulk too. Yeah, you could use Chris Pratt as Billy. Yeah, let's do that next. Would Kermit be Tommy or Jason? Kermit would be. He'd be Jason, right? I mean. No, maybe he would be Tommy. Maybe you make Gonzo Jason. Yeah, I think you make Gonzo Jason and you make Kermit Tommy. Sam Eagle as Zordon. Fozzie would be Billy. Animal would be Goldar. Cookie Monster. Really? Actually, instead of Sam Eagle as Zordon, can we have the chef be Zordon? Yeah, I can never remember. I can never remember Beaker and the other dude, like the short bald guy. You could almost have them be Zordon and Alpha. So Beaker would be Alpha, and and the other little bald guy, he would be Zordon. What color are his eyes? His eyes are red. Sam Eagle is Goldar. That's good too. I don't remember which one Rizzo is. Yeah, Hasbro should definitely be watching this. I mean, we have some really good ideas for casting. What was the Ernie? You have Animal be Ernie. So to be Animal's juice bar instead of Ernie's juice bar. I feel like it would make for some good comedy. Nice. So now I'm just going over the model really fast with some of that base coat, fixing up some of the spots that I got color on. Specifically on the legs. I'm going to do all of the model, but definitely want to get the legs the most because those actually stay this color. So yeah, if I had primed him silver, the white would have been more difficult. And now that I'm like to this point in the model, I'm pretty happy with the way the silver is looking. So maybe I wouldn't have done that because of the white. The white would have been a nightmare to paint over. So now I'm just looking over the model, making sure that I don't have any goofs, and paint's where I want paint. The wash is going to be a two-part process. Unlike previous models that I've done on stream, most of the models that I paint, I wash them with just one color. This model I'm going to be washing with two colors, so it'll be worth it in the end. It's going to take a little longer, but it's going to look nicer. All right. So the first wash that we want to do is a brown wash instead of a black wash. So we're going to use Agrax Earthshade, and this is going to be for the ribbons on his medal and for his pants. Because again, if you costuming decisions that they made for Power Rangers, I will never understand them. If you look at any of the source material for his pants, they are like this weird off-white color. So to get that effect, we are going to give the model some brown recesses with the Agrax Earthshade, and then highlight with our base coat of Wraithbone. So this is selective washing, which I hate doing, but it is what it is. And it's selective in that I'm not putting it over the entire model. I'm just going to put it on his very strangely designed pants. If you get a little bit on the other stuff, it won't matter too much because you're going to be putting a black wash on everything else, so it should cover it up. But I'm trying to be as careful as time allows me to be careful. Since we're clearly not going to be able to finish the model on this stream, I want to have all of the washes done by next stream, so that way we can just finish with the highlighting, maybe do a cool base, maybe a different type of base than what I've been doing on stream. Because this is going to be a centerpiece of my collection, so I've been kind of taking my time and being as thorough as possible, because the character has special meaning to me. If you're following along, if you're a new painter and you're following along, once the wash is on, the model is ready to go. And if washes make you nervous, you can stop before this step as well. Alright, well, that's his brown-ish, tan, off-white pants. Go ahead and put some on the gold too. It'll kind of dull it down a little bit, which we kind of want. You don't usually want to use, if ever, you don't usually want to use a black wash on gold. You want to try and stick with a red wash, a flush wash, or in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and use the brown wash. Cool. Yeah, the costume choice, like, he looks so cool from the waist up. And it's a cool model anyway, but it's just, like, the off-white pants when everything else is white, and then the gold shoes when everything else is silver just makes 0 sense to me. So the last wash, we're going to use black. I'm going to let that brown set for a second before we use the black. Even though it's going to go in different places, I just don't want to accidentally mix them together, especially up here. Well, I totally and completely missed a part of the model, which I'm just now noticing. It's too late to fix it. We're gonna have to fix it in post, aka fix it when we're highlighting, and I'll explain what it is I did wrong in just a second. And it's not really that I did something wrong. It's just I forgot to put paint where paint was needed. And now I'm going to have to, basically when this dries, I'm going to have to paint that spot again with what the color it needs to be, and then redo the wash just on that space. This model has some really cool recesses, especially like the eyes and the teeth. I want to make sure that the wash really settles nicely in there to make those details like pop. There's this little gap in between his armor plates around his waist. That's really cool. I'm trying to make sure I get that. Obviously, the folds of the cloth around the arms, they also look really, really cool. So I'm trying to make sure that the wash settles really nicely there. The fists. Trying to be careful around the pants. I don't want to get black on the pants. If I do, it's okay, but would prefer that the pants be brown. And I may actually do the brown wash on the pants again real quick. Just making sure I got it everywhere. So this is only the second time that we've ever not finished a model on stream. The other time was when we painted the green Psycho Ranger. But on that one, we almost finished. Like, if I had another 15 minutes or 20 minutes, I probably could have finished. So on the next stream, we just did a little highlighting and then a lot of work on the base and stuff to make the base stand out. This guy, you can see we still have quite a bit to do, letting all this wash dry and then coming back and hitting it with all the highlights, making him really, really pop. So this is a super fun model to paint. I'm very, very happy with how he's looking so far. So the spot that I missed, if you look on the wrists here, both above and below the spikes, and then here on the shins, both above and below the shins, there's like these black coils. He also has them here in, between his metal armor and the cloth bits. And there's one on that side as well. That should be the same color as these other coils. And I completely just didn't paint that part. So next time on stream, we'll start with that to make those look like the other things. And then we will wash. Then we'll wash it, and while the wash dries, we will start doing highlights and stuff. He's got some heels on his shoes. Trying to block them in with some black. Yeah, that looks good. And then I'm going to grab that brown wash again really fast. I realize the stream's about to end, but like I mentioned, while I'm finishing this, I'll say my outros and stuff. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, today is free scenario day. So when the stream's over with, make sure that you jump over to the Facebook page and or the website and grab your free scenario for the month, because that was posted while we were on stream today. Also, what other news did I have? I guess that's all I had for news. If you don't know who I am, please go and support my YouTube channel. It's over on youtube.com/Circle of Nerds. Give us a subscribe. It really means a lot. Helps us to continue to do the things that we love to do the most. And thank you to Renegade for having me on stream, allowing me to paint up Louie Kaboom. He's turning out really, really good. And I'm happy with the progress that we made with him today. And I do realize it was a little slower than normal, but again, I'm trying to take my time because he's going to be a centerpiece for me. So, yeah, we want to make sure that we do him some justice here. So, anyway, that's about the end of the stream. And I want to make sure that everybody who can vote, make sure you go vote. If you are doing anything fun this weekend or this week, enjoy. And if you're not doing anything fun this week, then I'm sorry that you're not doing anything fun. I wish I could help you out there. Yeah. I'm moving some of this wash around on the arm before I let it dry. Alright. So that's part 1 of Louie Kaboom. Next week we will finish him up. He's looking solid though. Look at that face, how it pops up. Looks good. Make sure that you guys are safe. Make sure you check in on your friends and your family. Say hello. Make sure that you take care of yourself, take care of others. And as always, as we like to say here at Renegade, remember to play your game. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.